Good day, dear listeners, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Oliver the Time Traveler. As we gather around the virtual campfire of time, let us extend a warm greeting to all who've joined us on this mesmerizing journey. Today, we find ourselves at a pivotal juncture as our intrepid time traveler, Oliver, embarks on a quest that defies the boundaries of ages past and present. His destination, Leiden, a city ensnared in the tumultuous throes of history, where the echoes of conflict reverberate through time itself. His mission? To seek the elusive First Watcher, a figure shrouded in the mists of time, whose tale holds the key to unraveling the mysteries that transcend eras. But, dear listeners, let us waste no time, for the tapestry of history beckons. The past awaits our exploration, and our adventure continues. As Oliver activates the watch, he finds himself once again enveloped in a brilliant cascade of white lights. Within this luminous cocoon, he senses the currents of time pulling him forward, towards Leiden, a city gripped by turmoil. Yet, as the lights whirl around him, he is acutely aware that he's traversing history itself, but the exact circumstances that await him on arrival remain shrouded in uncertainty. He holds his breath, his heart racing with anticipation. The first sensation to greet him is the cool embrace of a crisp, with an early morning breeze rushing through his hair. Oliver sees that the soft light of dawn paints the cobblestone streets and ancient buildings with a delicate hue of rose and gold. It's a quiet and gentle moment in time, just before the storm of daily life erupts. Oliver finds himself standing in a corner, on top of the city walls of Leiden. In this tranquil setting, his attention is drawn to a hooded figure. The figure stands beside an old wooden box, and with a careful and practiced hand, the person attaches a small note to the pigeon's foot. Oliver watches in awe as the person looks over the ancient city walls. In a moment, the figure releases the pigeon, its wings unfurling like a banner of hope. The bird soars gracefully into the morning sky, carrying with it the secrets of the message. As the pigeon soars into the morning sky, the hooded figure turns around. With a graceful and fluid motion, the person lowers the hood. A voice, soft and knowing, reaches Oliver's ears. "Hello," the person says, with a tone laced with a sense of familiarity. "I knew you were there. What took you so long?" Oliver blinks in surprise, the unexpected greeting catching him off guard. He steps forward, his curiosity piqued, and as he draws closer, he realizes that the hooded figure is not a man, but a woman. With a small, somewhat sheepish smile, he gathers his composure and with a newfound sense of ease in this unexpected encounter, he extends his hand and simply smiles and says, "I'm Oliver, what's your name?" The woman nods and offers a warm smile in response to Oliver's question. "I'm Isabella," she says, her voice carrying a hint of intrigue. She glances at Oliver's attire, her eyes falling upon the cloak he's wearing. "There's much to talk about, Oliver," Isabella continues, her words laced with a sense of anticipation. "But first, allow me to compliment you on that cloak. It suits you well, a perfect fit for these times." Oliver, amazed by the words of Isabella, is touched by her compliment and smiles gratefully. "Thank you, Isabella." Isabella, ever mindful of the need for caution, leans in slightly and says to Oliver, her voice soft and cautious, "Before we continue, put your sleeve over the watch or tuck it away in your pocket. Nobody around here knows what it is, and it's best to keep it out of sight." Taking her advice to heart, Oliver swiftly complies. He discreetly pulls his sleeve over the watch, concealing it from view. As an extra precaution, he drapes a piece of his cloak over the watch, ensuring that it remains hidden but readily accessible in case there's a situation where he needs to press the red button. Isabella explains the urgency of the situation. "Oliver, there's a matter of great importance. We need to prepare 2 pigeons and send them off with messages for the leader of the revolt against Spanish rule, William of Orange. Time is of the essence, and your assistance would be greatly appreciated. After that we will go to a place where we can talk." Isabella, her touch gentle and precise, selects one of the pigeons from the box. With utmost care, she places it in Oliver's outstretched hand. The pigeon coos softly. Oliver watches attentively as Isabella retrieves a small scroll. With deft and practiced hands, she carefully attaches it to the leg of the pigeon. The note is destined for the king's eyes alone. Isabella, her eyes fixed on the task, exudes an air of determination. She then again gazes out over the ancient city walls, her eyes gauging the wind's direction and the expanse of the horizon. With a steady hand, she releases the pigeon into the morning air. With a powerful beat of its wings, the pigeon takes flight. It glides gracefully through the sky, as if bidding a silent farewell to the city of Leiden, before disappearing into the distant horizon. In its flight, it carries not only the hopes and words of a kingdom, but also the weight of an era, a bridge between past and present, with each rhythmic flap of its wings. Isabella quickly hands a note to Oliver, her action swift and purposeful. She then proceeds to take the other pigeon, repeating the same careful process, attaching a note to its leg, her eyes gauging the wind and the horizon, before releasing it into the morning sky. As the second pigeon takes flight, Isabella swiftly gathers the empty basket. Her gaze lingers for a moment over the city walls, as if to ensure their task is complete. Finally, Isabella turns to Oliver and says, "Come on, we should make our way to my home, my workplace. Here, everyone knows me, because I handle the pigeons. If anyone greets us, just nod and smile friendly in return." Oliver follows Isabella as she gracefully navigates the stone pathway atop the city wall. The ancient stones, weathered by centuries of history, provide a rugged but dependable footing. As they reach a particular section of the wall, Isabella leads Oliver to a sturdy wooden ladder. With practiced ease, she begins to descend, her movements fluid and confident. As Isabella and Oliver descend from the city walls, they are greeted by a man who stands waiting at the foot of the ladder. With a warm smile, he addresses Isabella, "Good morning, Isabella. Have the pigeons been safely sent on their way?" His tone is friendly, and his eyes twinkle with curiosity. Isabella nods in response to the man's question, her own smile reflecting the camaraderie of shared responsibilities. "Yes, indeed," she replies. "They are off to deliver their messages." The man then turns his attention to Oliver, nodding in acknowledgement. His gaze shifting between Isabella and Oliver. "It's wonderful to see that you've found a helper for the pigeons." Oliver nods in return, extending a polite greeting. The man, his sense of duty calling, quickly conveys his purpose. "I must make haste to change the guard up on the walls," he explains, his tone carrying a note of urgency. "Goodbye, Isabella. Good luck you both with the rest of your day." With a nod of farewell, he begins his ascent up the ladder, disappearing gradually from view as he returns to the post atop the city walls. Isabella offers her own farewell, her voice carrying well wishes. "Goodbye, and take care," she says, her words a parting gesture of goodwill. Oliver, recalling Isabella's advice to nod and smile, follows suit, offering a friendly nod as the man disappears on top of the city walls. Isabella smiles warmly at Oliver and offers a piece of sage advice: always friendly is the best way to be. With that, she beckons him to follow her, and they weave their way through the streets of Leiden. They exchange nods and friendly greetings with the people they encounter along the way. They traverse bridges that span the city's canals, their footsteps echoing over the rippling waters below. After a series of warm greetings and nods to familiar faces, Isabella leads Oliver to a quaint, ivy-covered house nestled at the end of a charming garden. Pigeon cages line the garden's edge, their occupants cooing softly, as if welcoming the duo into their avian haven. Isabella, with a gentle smile, starts feeding the pigeons in the cages, her movements graceful and familiar. The cooing of the birds fills the air with a soothing melody, a stark contrast to the chaos that reigns outside the city's protective walls. As she tends to the pigeons, Isabella begins to explain to Oliver the significance of this special area of Leiden. She speaks softly, her voice carrying the weight of history. The city is surrounded by the Spaniards, and there's little food to spare. But this house, she continues, is secured by the police. It's a haven for these pigeons, and for us. Here inside the house, we can safely talk, away from prying eyes. As Oliver and Isabella continue to feed the pigeons, their gentle cooing providing a tranquil backdrop to their conversation, the atmosphere suddenly becomes livelier. 4 pigeons swoop down gracefully and alight on a small platform attached to one of the birdhouses. Isabella's face lights up with delight as she greets the newcomers with a soft, affectionate cooing of her own. She reaches into a nearby container and retrieves a handful of grains and corn, offering them to the pigeons. They eagerly peck at the nourishment, their feathers ruffling with contentment. With practiced hands, Isabella carefully but quickly removes the notes that are attached to the feet of each pigeon and puts the notes into one of her pockets. Isabella, with a faint look of surprise on her face, turns to Oliver and says, "I didn't expect the pigeons to arrive at this moment. This means these letters are of utmost importance." Her tone carries a sense of urgency as she continues, "We must bring these letters to the mayor of the city immediately." Isabella swiftly opens the pigeon birdhouse, and as the pigeons go in, she turns to Oliver with a determined expression. "Come on," she urges, her voice resolute. "Our first priority is to deliver these letters to the mayor." With a shared sense of purpose, they start walking through the winding streets of Leiden. Isabella leads the way, her familiarity with the city evident as she navigates the cobblestone paths with ease. The mayor's house is nearby, she informs Oliver as they make their way through the historic streets. The urgency of their mission has brought them together in this unique moment in history. After traversing a series of narrow streets, Isabella and Oliver find themselves standing in front of an imposing house. Isabella approaches a guard station nearby and exchanges greetings, the guard nodding in acknowledgement of her presence. Isabella then leads Oliver up a stone staircase that leads to the front door of the house. With a composed demeanor, she knocks on the door, the sound echoing through the quiet street. Moments later, the door opens, revealing a man on the other side. His expression is welcoming as he greets Isabella, saying, "Hello, Isabella. The mayor will be glad to see you." Isabella and Oliver step inside the grand house, crossing the threshold into an environment steeped in history. The man who welcomed them closes the heavy door behind them, sealing off the outside world. In silence, they follow the man through a grand hallway adorned with ornate tapestries and portraits of dignitaries from a bygone era. As they progress deeper into the house, they arrive at another door. The man, without hesitation, knocks on the door, the sound echoing in the hushed corridor. A voice from within beckons them, saying, "Come in." This is their invitation into the heart of the mayor's domain, a place where they will soon deliver the messages carried by the pigeons. As the door swings open, Oliver's eyes fall upon a man rising from a desk on the other side of the room. The man, with an air of authority and warmth, walks towards them, his steps purposeful yet welcoming. With a gentle smile, he greets them. "Isabella," he says, his tone expressing genuine pleasure, "it's good to see you again, you have a helper I see. How many today?" Isabella, her posture respectful but unwavering, replies, "4 letters arrived this morning, Mr. Mayor, and this is Oliver." The mayor's curiosity is piqued when he hears the words 4 letters, and Oliver can sense the importance of these letters in the air. Isabella reaches into her pocket, retrieving the 4 letters with the small seal. She presents them to the mayor, who accepts them with a sense of purpose. Without delay, he returns to his desk and points to the 2 chairs as a gesture for them to take a seat. Seated at his desk, the mayor carefully breaks the seals on the letters and begins to read their contents. His expression shifts as he peruses the messages, the weight of their import evident in his demeanor. Isabella, recognizing the need for patience, gestures toward 2 chairs in the room. She and Oliver take their seats, to await the mayor's conclusions. As the mayor finishes reading the letters, his countenance undergoes a transformation, a mix of relief and concern evident in his expression. With a deep breath, he begins to speak, his voice carrying a weighty revelation. "I have incredible news," he declares, his words resonating through the room. William of Orange, in his wisdom and determination, has devised a daring plan. The mayor, seized by the urgency of the moment, reaches for a piece of parchment and a quill, dipping it into a nearby inkwell. While night falls, he explains as he continues writing, William of Orange, alongside the rebels, will execute this daring plan. They will put holes in the dikes encircling Leiden, unleashing the power of the waters upon our besiegers. The mayor looks at both Isabella and Oliver and repeats, William intends to put holes in the dikes surrounding Leiden, flooding the land and forcing the Spaniards to either drown or flee. The mayor's announcement signifies a turning point in the city's struggle against the besieging Spanish forces. It is a bold and desperate move, one that may change the course of history for Leiden and its people. With a sense of urgency, the mayor swiftly finishes writing 4 notes, his quill moving deftly across the parchment. He then turns to Isabella, a look of determination in his eyes, and says, Isabella, please send these messages back to William as quickly as possible. He hands her the 4 sealed notes, each one identical to the others, as a precaution in case something should befall one of the pigeons on their journey. The mayor, now focused on his next task, adds, I must also inform the other members of the city council about William of Orange's plan and the rebels' efforts to free Leiden. Our city's fate rests on the success of this strategy. My dear Isabella and Oliver, we will meet later, and I will see you again when there is new mail. Isabella nods in understanding, and carefully tucks the 4 sealed notes into her pocket, ensuring their safekeeping. With a bow of gratitude and respect, she bids farewell to the mayor, who acknowledges her with a parting nod. Oliver follows suit, silently expressing his appreciation for the mayor's trust. As they exit the mayor's house, a sense of urgency propels them forward. They quickly make their way through the winding streets of Leiden, retracing their steps to reach Isabella's sanctuary where the pigeons are housed. The day's events have set in motion a chain of actions and decisions that may shape the destiny of the city. Dear listeners, as we conclude this episode of Oliver's Journey Through Time, we extend our gratitude to you, our valued listeners. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. We'll leave Oliver for now, his adventure taking him deeper into the heart of Leiden's history. We look forward to rejoining him on the next leg of his quest. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating tales from the world of time travel and mystery. Your enthusiasm fuels our storytelling, and we can't wait to share more adventures with you. Thank you for listening. Until next time.